Andre Fields. Welcome in, brother.
Thank you.
Good to have you here, man.
Good to be here, man.
So, I like this movement that you're on, man, and this show is called The Making of the Minority Male. What do you think about that?
Well, that's the title matches. I say my life goal, my life purpose.
Yes.
So, my life goal is that when I die, black people socially are just as advanced as the rest of society.
Yeah,
So, whether it be
yeah.
education, economics, incarceration rates, whatever it may be, we keeping up with the pack.
Yeah.
So, in other words, eliminating that gap.
Exactly.
And so for that to happen, of course, black males have to be conditioned and or reconditioned to be able to do those things.
So what do you think about ownership, man? What do you think about as black men having or lacking the ownership of the responsibility of themselves doing better?
Yeah, that's key. I call it, when I'm talking to my guys, I call it the man instinct.
Yeah.
Meaning, some of the guys that talk to me, like, I'm trying to figure out what does a man look like, and I always tell them a man takes responsibility.
Yeah.
If you're not taking responsibility, I always tell them the opposite of that is a bum.
Yeah.
Because a bum, whatever it is that they want in life, they want someone to give it to them.
Yeah.
They don't want to do the work. They want it to just wake up and it magically be there. And that's the opposite of a man. A man figures out what is his vision, what is his dream, and he takes responsibility for it.
Yeah. Like the other night about you, and I said one advantage that you have is a lot of black men speak about social injustice and things like that from passion, but you combine science, theory, research, and then so when you plead that case, it's undeniable.
Yeah. It helps, man. Science helps.
Yeah.
Research helps. History helps.
Yeah.
And if you want to build an argument or a story that can actually change the way a person thinks, in this day and age, this is the information age, just your passion and your energy is not going to change minds when it comes to racism.
Right.
So, it's strategic, using a little bit of all those different components to build a narrative that is, the goal is always irrefutable.
So
that was my first book, and it basically breaks down, kind of echoing where you were starting, how black males are systematically conditioned to not believe in themselves, to not believe in their futures, psychologically conditioned to think that for whatever reason, life doesn't have his best interest in mind, and so I call it C.A.N.T culture. It's a culture of black males who they C.A.N.T stands for cognitive and affective negativity template.
Wow.
So their
Say that one more time, man. That's deep.
C.A.N.T culture, the cognitive and affective negativity template.
Wow.
Meaning how I see life, myself, and my future, and how I feel about myself, my life, and my future is seen through this lens of perpetual negativity and hopelessness.
Wow.
And so what happens when you sit in that state long enough, your value system begins to change. Because what's going on is you're saying to yourself, the typical traditional way to attain the American dream is not built for me. I must find an alternative route, which means I now, at least black males are taught to pick up these misguided motivations. These motivations for selling drugs, motivations for being a player, robbing, all these different things, because it's a non-traditional route for the same thing.
Right.
The American dream. And so, when I'm dealing with a lot of black males, because in general, we all have internalized some level of racism, or I would say inferiority in some areas. Even Barack Obama, if you sit down and talk to him long enough, he's going to tell you as a black male, he's been in that C.A.N.T culture box before.
Yeah.
And so the goal of my interactions with black males, whether I'm counseling, mentoring, speaking, etc., is just getting them to not only believe in their futures, but to focus on their strengths. We're taught to focus on our weaknesses and all the barriers, and not to acknowledge our strengths and opportunities.
Yeah.
And so this book, the purpose of it is just to give a scientific narrative on how black males, really by the age, research shows, and you guys probably have seen the Doll study, black children internalize racism by the age of 5. So if you take a room full of 10 black children and say what doll is better, the black doll or the white doll, which doll is smarter, the black doll or the white doll, the majority of them will say
The white
dog.
Right.
And so they download inferiority by the age of 5, and that goes back to what you were talking about with Frederick Douglass.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't find a way to intervene quickly and keeping these children confident, they're going to grow up to be broken men, broken women. And so it's important that parents, that you constantly affirm your child, constantly keep a dialogue going about what it means to be black, constantly having a dialogue of reminding them that they come from greatness. I always say we're the youngest race on the planet. 400 years ago, we didn't exist. 400 years ago, we were African. But because we mixed blood with Europeans, Spanish, Native American, Asian, etc., we're a brand new race.
Right.
And so our whole existence from slavery on has been all hardship. And so if the saying is true that which does not kill you makes you stronger, we could be arguably the strongest race on the planet. Not better, but
Right.
having a psychological wiring that is great and strong. And so children need to know that at a very young age. I think we talk about it when you get in high school or when you first go through something. That's too late for a lot of black children.
Yeah, you're right.
Right.
So,